Mosier Media Podcast.
Welcome to the Monday Morning Commute here on the Mosier Media Podcast. And of course, I like to start off every week by giving our listeners, our viewers, some food for thought, maybe some inspiration, certainly some ideas. I always say, give me 15 minutes in the car on your way in, and hopefully I'll give you something you can use. Maybe you're drinking your morning coffee right now. Maybe you're just have the phone right there and you're listening and watching, and we so appreciate it. Really building up this podcast and our social media presence. And boy, if you ever wanted to start a podcast for your business, reach out and I'll give you at least what I can do, tips and tricks from what I've learned. I'd be happy to share how this is working for Mosier Media, how this is working to build our business, our presence online, of course, all of those things. And I genuinely enjoy just sharing my insight, what I've learned in 30 plus years in this business. I'm very fortunate that I get to be in the industry that I love, and I love encouraging others, and I certainly want to see others be successful in this industry. So reach out. Dan@mosiermedia.com is my email. I also would like stories. I love war stories, success stories, maybe even stories of failure. If you are, like me, a business owner, you've been doing this a little while, and you've got stories, I'd love to hear them, especially stories of near bankruptcy or challenges or problems that you really worked hard to overcome and were better off for whatever it was you had to work through. Those are great stories. I'd love to hear them. I have 3 questions on today's podcast that we're going to go through, and I would love to hear your thoughts, your responses to these 3 questions. Number 1, what are things you like to do in your work that have gone away or diminished and you wish they would come back? For us, for me personally, there is this thing that we used to do, and we still do from time to time, but those projects are few and far between, and that is the company overview video. And it used to be, and this is what happens, you start to do the back in my day stories, but here it is. It used to be that companies would do a branding film or a company overview video or a tour of the factory, or here's our manufacturing capabilities, sometimes for a trade show, sometimes for the website. Even before social media, they would spend 10 or 20,000 or more, with typical budget to do this. And you might be shooting for a couple days at a location, at a company, interviews, B-roll in the factory, product shots. The company overview video or the branding film was a project. And they were 10 or 20 or $30,000 or more, but now that money is for social media or digital ads and divided over maybe 10 or 20 or 30 videos or more. Maybe even videos like this. Maybe even somebody would say, let's do a podcast and let's do short videos for social media. And so that's not something that I can be upset about. That's just a trend. That's something that I can't control. I can only control how we respond to it. And that's okay. But I'm asking that question to throw it out to the audience. What is something in your industry or your business that changed and it went away or it diminished, and it was something that was right in your wheelhouse, something you loved doing, is maybe even the thing that you were known for? And I'll give you another example, is the 30-second television commercial, which of course we still shoot 30-second TV ads regularly, but that business has cut back a little bit as people have decided to take their content creation budgets and spread it out over digital ads and social media videos and any number of things. And to be really creative, perhaps you shoot content or put something together, and it's for YouTube and television and your website and TikTok and any number of things. And of course, all these platforms and different distribution methods all have different requirements. So in a lot of cases, what's going to work on television is not going to work on TikTok. And again, that's just the way the world is. Not something that we can stop or work against. We can only control how we respond to it. And with all of that, what are things that you have added to your service offerings or to your business or to your skill set Teaching an old dog new tricks. I learn new stuff all the time, and I love learning new things. And that's part of adapting and changing with the times and making sure that what you are offering to your clients is relevant and in need. But what things have you added? Maybe things that didn't exist when you started. That's also possible. We do all kinds of things that I couldn't have imagined we would be doing when we started, but we're doing them. But what are services or different things you've added to your product line or service line that you had to do to change with the times? And another one, could be one of the most important. Is there a list of things you would never want to be involved in? I say I would retire before getting into that line of work. And that is entirely, I won't go through my list. And I have worked every kind of job or taken on almost any kind of project you can imagine in 30 plus years in media. And I have learned from and loved every opportunity I've ever had. But looking back, there's a couple of things to say, well, I did that, but I didn't make that my staple service offering. I didn't develop that skill set as this is what I do or what I've known for. And there is a thing too, that in this industry, you could become known for one thing. And that's okay, I suppose. But then how do you change that in your marketing and branding? And I might still get calls from people to say, hey, could you help me with this? And I said, well, I haven't done that in 20 years. But yeah, sure, I'll do it. But that particular call might come from somebody that just remembers that 20 years ago, that's the thing we did together, and we haven't talked in a long time. And they're calling and say, hey, do you still? Sure, absolutely. Why not? But all of us have worked some part of our industry or part of our field that we're in where we say, I don't think I would do that again, or I wouldn't chase that work. And I suppose that it all depends on where you are and how much work you want or don't want. But I want to hear your list of things. What's the one thing in your field that you're just not going to get involved in, or you're not chasing it, or if somebody called you, you would say, I do not do that at all. And one of the things that we've gotten into that I really enjoy, and it sort of happened just naturally over the years, and probably because as we do this marketing, as we do podcasts, or we do social media videos and all of this, I give speeches, I go to networking events and things, that I perhaps have presented us as somewhat successful. Is that a thing? That's what marketing is about. We always say puffing up the bird. But then you get to a point where people might come to you and they want to just pick your brain. And I'm always honored when somebody says, hey, can I pick your brain? And I always say, well, it's slim pickings, but if you believe there's something here that can help you, I'm happy to. And sometimes it's a person coming into the business. There's even been situations where people that mentored me, people that I admire tremendously, people that helped me launch my career, were doing things at the end of their career and trying to stage their exit or they wanted to kind of put their legacy together or kind of wrap up their career, and what's the way to do it? And maybe they want to stay in it, but exiting the business. And when those folks would come to me and say, hey, I'm thinking about retirement. What do you think? And I said, what do I think? You've been doing this, and now you're asking me what my thoughts are. I'm honored. What an honor to be asked. And so through the years, the last couple of years especially, as things got really challenging, I would have conversations with other business owners in our field, in creative services, in video production, and some that were in other doing B2B selling. Let's say people that were selling like I do to corporations or doing commercial work in some field, and just talk about how do you do it? How do you prospect? How do you handle finding good talent and all of those issues? And I really enjoy doing some consulting work. Some of it is just therapy. Some of it is just, you have two business owners talking about their problems. That can be therapy. That can be very productive. Just to have somebody to talk to that really understands what you're going through. And I don't know if there's a line item in our billing system for this. This is just something I enjoy doing. And in some cases, the relationships you form through those networks, through that just collaborating and a true deep connection can lead to work, or it can lead to some way that somebody trusts you and sends you business. And those can be certainly reciprocal arrangements if you meet somebody and you know their skill set and you know what they're really good at and where their heart is with things. But that media consulting is more about very personal connections and really connecting on a deeper level. And really, after all that went on in the pandemic, where we weren't able to connect in person at all, and certainly we've worked through all that. But the idea of the human connection coming back and that media consulting work is really therapeutic for both parties. Another thing that we get into is when a business owner in the creative field needs a break. You need a sabbatical. You need maybe you've been doing this a long time. Maybe some things aren't going well at home or in your life, or we all have medical issues, or things that relatives that have medical issues, or we all have something where you just need a break. And when you're in the creative services field, I suppose this might be true for a lot of industries, but if you're the business, if most of what the service of that business is you providing that service, or you and the team you have, but that team really needs you to be there, then taking some time off to take care of you, to have that work-life balance for any number of life issues that come up is not easy. So in some cases, we have worked with business owners or other industry creative professionals to just help them keep their business going in their absence. And there's nothing wrong with forwarding the phone line to somebody that you trust and letting somebody look at the general email box for your business, or maybe kind of keep an eye on your social media just to keep an eye on things, and then taking a little time off. Could you imagine a vacation where you actually turn the phone off? And how many of our clients might want to have our personal cell phone number and need us in a crisis? And speaking of crisis, another field that I love is crisis communications work. It's an area, a very niche area, I'm sure everybody knows, a very niche area of public relations. And crisis communications, and when your company is finding itself in a situation where things are not good and the media is showing up at your door, or there's social media posts about your brand or your product or your business or the behavior of your people, and now you have a crisis. And there's a way to face it head on, to deal with the media, to get out there in front of it, to tell the truth, tell it fast, get the story right, work with journalists, work with the public to make sure they understand where you are in it. And in a lot of ways, you can minimize that story. In your heart, you need to be doing the right thing behind the scenes, be ethical and take care of things and make sure that your house is in order. You can't go to lie to the media. But I thrive in crisis mode. Anybody that knows me knows I love a good crisis. I function in crisis. I am the crisis guy in a lot of personal areas of my life. I'm the guy with the bail money, and all my friends that got into trouble back in the day, I was always the guy with the bail money. My cousin called me one time and said, "Hey, you know how to get into the Summit County Jail. Where do you go? My friend got in a little trouble. I got to go bail her out." And where do you go? I said, "You go up to the 5th floor of the Akron Municipal Building. You pay $700 cash to the guy. Come down. You go over to the Summit County Jail. You sit in the parking lot and you wait for a minute. And they got to register the computer. It takes, by the time you drive from one to the other, they're going to have it. And you got to sit there and wait 20 minutes for them to clear your friend, and she'll get out and you can drive her home." And she goes, "I knew you'd know this." And off she went and bailed out her friend. And then later I gave her a good lecture about it. And anyway, we don't even get into that. But the work of foster care involves what's called respite care. And I so admire all the foster families and those taking care of kids in need. We do a lot of work for the Summit County Children's Services here in Akron, Ohio. And what they do is amazing. But there's this whole group, and they're called the respite care workers. And they're licensed foster parents, and what they do is they support the foster families so that they can have a weekend off. So if the foster family needs some time off, they will take the foster kids for the weekend, let's say, or just help out in any way they can. And could you imagine if you had respite care for your business? This is something very important to think about. If you feel like you're going to lose clients, or your business is just going to be in trouble if you leave for 2 weeks, and you want a 2-week vacation where you take your phone off, or your daughter's getting married, or your son and your daughter, somebody's going to have a kid, or any number of just life milestone kind of life-changing sort of things where you wanted to go be part of that. You've worked your life and build a business, and now it's like something great has happened, or if something terrible has happened, you don't want to come back and your business is gone. So think about, what could we do to set up respite care for a creative services business? And we've been working on some things. We got some great ideas, and that's an area that I love. It puts it all together. A little bit of crisis comes into play. A little bit of media training and all that. We have our media executive studio where we coach executives how to speak on camera, how to give sales presentations. And I don't do the coaching. All I need to do is record them, throw a couple questions at them, and let them watch on video. I'm not a coach. I just provide the practice space, and it's an incredible thing. But if you put all this together, so in the video production business, I love producing the TV commercials. I love it when we have crews out shooting TV spots. I love turning on TV and seeing something. It's like, my team did that. I know who made that commercial. That's exciting. When a company wants to do a big branding film or corporate overview video, I love those. But those are now, in this era that we're living in, they're few and far between, and that's okay. And so I still want to do those. I want to make sure we are always going to be around when those calls happen. And part of that is looking at some of the other fun things that I love about this business. PR work, crisis communications, right up my alley, certainly. Coaching in a way that you just put somebody in a position, let them practice here in the executive studio. Respite care for other creatives when they come to say, hey, I need to take some time off. Can you help keep our business going for a period of time? And what can we do to answer their phones, to watch their emails, to help them with their projects? And in a way, you formulate the story so those that aren't necessarily super close with the business owner but are connected to the business and need the services that that business provides, that there could be continuity and that person is served. And they're going to stay with that brand and that business even while the owner just takes a little personal time or goes and lives life. You know, in all of it, sometimes working with other business owners or those in the creative field, it can just be about lending an ear and listening, which as a talker sometimes is hard. And sometimes the best therapy or the best support you can provide for someone is listening for a long period of time. I know this can be done. I've never tried it myself personally. Those that know me will just tell you. I have always talking, and you got to step back and just listen and really understand what people are trying to convey. And one of the biggest challenges is that those of us who own a business or are building a brand, or if our name is on our business, and so sometimes we are the brand, and there's a good and bad to that, but we don't want our friends or our family or our peers in the business, our employees and clients, and maybe even to some level our competitors, to know what's really bothering us or to know what we're facing. You have to keep it inside, because if you let it out that you're worried that this isn't going to work or that the business is struggling or we're not going to make it, then that's damaging to the brand. So some of us are programmed to keep it all in. So there's a very limited number of people that you can talk to. And I am always honored when somebody reaches out and says, you know, I need to talk to you. You've been through this. And I say, well, I might be going through that now. You don't know, because I'm not going to talk about it. But I do. And when you have those relationships, and this is very rewarding to be able to commiserate, to be able to get together with somebody. I hope this is helpful. I enjoy the Monday morning commute and this broadcast. Everything is about what can we do this week that makes what we're doing this week better than last week. What are we doing to get closer to our goals? And what I wanted to throw out were those three questions. And let's see if we can remember them. We want to talk about how things have changed in your industry, what's gone away that you love doing and you were good at and now it's diminished or maybe disappeared entirely. What are you doing to replace it? Those are the things we want to think about. And the third question, of course, what are the things that you would never do? You might say, you know what, if this is the way the world's going, this is where our industry is going, I'm checking out. I've had my fun. I'm going to go find something completely different. I love the whole Career 2.0 idea. I know tons of people that have done it, that come in, and I've interviewed them on our podcast and our other series we do, where somebody comes in and tells the story of they had this beautiful career, they did it 30 years, and the industry changed, and they reinvented themselves. Those are great stories. But think about it. Think about those questions. Send me your thoughts, dan@mosiermedia.com. I would love to hear from you. I would love to make these 15-minute talks that turn into 20 somehow. I'd love to make these useful and inspiring and just tossing out ideas. And I'd love a lot of those ideas to come from our audience. I know I watched some of the analytics. I'm thrilled that people are watching. I love that what it is that we do can help someone else build a business, put food on the table, be successful. I love all of that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please reach out, dan@moshermedia.com. This has been the Monday Morning Commute. Thank you.
Mosher Media Podcast.